endless skies. Oh, I'm living that nomad life, city to city, feeling alive. From mountain tops to ocean drives, unchained, I thrive, I thrive.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us here on Nomads 50 Plus. My name is Chris Kalaboukis, and it's my mission in life to interview 1,000 digital nomads. That's right, folks, 1,000 digital nomads about leaping into the digital nomad life. And today we have a special guest. Maybe you can introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your vision and your passion.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks so much, Chris. My name is Mariza Monteiro, and I have been a classification of a nomad for the last 10 years.
Nice. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Did you have like a nomad party at one point where you said, hey,
like an anniversary party?
Yeah, an anniversary party.
I think now that we're the OGs, the people that started before 2015, before COVID, because I feel like when I first started, people didn't understand how you could work online, like how you could not have, especially with consulting and professional services.
Yep.
And they'd ask me, like, you never meet your clients? I'm like, oh yeah, I meet them all the time on Zoom. What's Zoom? Like 10 years ago, it was like, what's Zoom?
Are you kidding?
And
I know a guy who moved to Thailand, and he's a digital nomad back in like the mid 2000s. So it could have been done in 2000s. So it can be done. It can be done.
There was Skype.
In 2005, I think he moved in 2004, 2005, and he moved to Thailand, and he's digital nomading from Thailand, and he's a graphic designer, and all of his clients are in the US, and he did it pre-Zoom, pre-COVID, pre-everything. So there are people who've been doing it for a long time.
Well, what I used to tell people before COVID, unless you're a hairdresser or a heart surgeon, everything that you produce is from your brain, and you can put that in an email.
Absolutely.
Graphic design, reports, consulting, website building, basically everything that there is. I mean, I have met some of my clients because we try to get together as nomads at different kinds of conferences and locations because that kind of strengthens the bond. But I've been friends with people for years before ever meeing them in person. Wow. And I still have friends that I haven't met in person yet.
So what made you want to do this?
Asia or something like that, or friends I haven't been able to see because they live in Asia and it's just too far. But yeah, I try to tell people, after COVID, it was easier to explain because everybody had to do their job. They couldn't go do the meeting in person.
Absolutely.
Like, okay, maybe you can. And then a lot of people were like, I like this. I don't like traffic. People didn't understand that from before. Like, no matter where I was, because I initially started out coming to Brazil. I left the States. I'm originally from California, and I really
no way. I couldn't tell by your California accent.
So I was living in Connecticut right before I came here. I was working for a Fortune 50. I had the corporate job. I was there in my 20s, and it's basically that typical story of I got sick of my 9 to 5. Everybody bought that ebook, right? I got sick of my 9 to 5.
What, not the 4-hour work week? That inspired a lot of people too.
You know what? I watched Eat, Pray, Love, and I was like, you can leave the US? I didn't know.
Is it possible?
They just like, we're number one. We're number one. Where would you go if you're already in number one?
Exactly.
And
everything is here.
In the US, their initial reaction is like, is it safe? Is there healthcare? Are there hospitals? Like, it's way safer. The internet's better.
and the healthcare is cheaper.
Yeah. So I say to people like that whatever that initial fear is, because I had those same fears leaving the US. Like, am I going to be able to get the things?
Yeah.
And then finding out like, oh, healthcare's a lot better and a lot cheaper. Basically anywhere else.
So have you always loved to travel? Or is this?
No, I didn't travel. Like I said, I came to Brazil. I actually moved to Brazil as an expat when I was 32, left my job. And I have a Brazilian passport, so I didn't have to worry about visa. So I moved here and I was going to start a business here. I started out teaching English. And what got me into the digital nomad lifestyle was the local money here started to be subject to a lot of currency risk and a lot of inflation. And that never happened to my dollar. So I stumbled upon, like many people do, a course, a blueprint. How do I make money online? And I stumbled upon this copywriting course. So I started doing that. figured out I hated writing stuff that I didn't care about. It took me like it took me 3 days
That
to
is
do
the
an
problem with
article.
copywriting.
It took me 3 days to write an article that I made $25. I'm like, this is not scalable. But
Yeah.
that first $25 that came in PayPal was like magic.
Yeah. I did that
I'll
once
never.
for a little while. I remember I put up my shingle as a writer, and an old friend of mine said, "Oh, I need some copy for a website." And it was like so many hours for hardly any return. I'm like, okay, I don't know if I want to do this.
And I think that's, I hear that story from a lot of my friends and colleagues that they start with something and like, oh, maybe this isn't for me. And you got to figure out like what is it for you? And I started a bunch of different businesses. I remember at that time, I told my partner at the time that I was like, I really don't like writing. He's like, well, you like talking. And this was 2015. So he's like, you like talking. Why don't you do a podcast? And
Podcasts
I
have been
said,
around for 10 years by that point.
well, I
Yeah.
said, what's a podcast? 10 years ago, I didn't know.
Mm.
So he gave me like Mark Maron and Joe Rogan when it was cooler, a couple of podcasts. I'm like, this is awesome. You get to talk to people? Great. So I started doing that and I ended up creating a podcast publishing company. So that was my first business
Fantastic.
that I did for a while. That was really, really great. A couple of years later, of course, it became a commodity and I couldn't charge $500 a month for 4 episodes anymore.
Yes, I remember those days.
Remember those days?
Yeah.
And that's another thing, like you got to be flexible. The market changes, conditions change. Even in COVID, a lot of my friends that were in the travel industry, they didn't
Oh, yeah.
have a business. I was in e-commerce. E-commerce went crazy.
Yeah.
And, we sold saunas. So people couldn't go to the gym to go to a sauna. So they bought one for their house.
Right.
And it was amazing. So you got to know whatever you start out doing might not be the thing and try a couple different things.
Yeah.
As well.
So is it your first impetus was the reason you first left was because you were kind of sick of the corporate life and you said, okay, I'm out of here? Or
Yeah, I actually, it was Eat, Pray, Love. I saw the movie. I was like,
Yeah.
let me go take a break.
Mhm.
It was just a break. It wasn't move.
But she didn't go to Brazil though. How did you end up going to Brazil?
I went to Europe, and I backpacked a little bit, and I realized a 30-year-old backpacking, that's not my style. So, like, I met another American. She's
I
like,
don't
how
want to
did-
sleep on a couch, basically,
No,
or in a
no,
hostel.
nothing like that. So things were cheaper. Healthcare was better. When I came back to the States, I was like, I don't think I can go back to a cubicle
Mm.
and working like 9 to 5 and, not just trading time for money, but specific time and hours and a commute.
Yeah.
And doing something you really don't like to
And
make
nine
money.
times out of 10, what you're doing in a corporate office is pointless and boring anyway, right?
Oh, I
I mean-
worked for an insurance company. So
Oh,
yeah.
so
I worked in the pension area doing investments. So it
wow,
was
could you be
definitely-
any more pointless and boring? No, I'm kidding.
And with actuaries, yeah, it was basically
I hear
that.
those
But
guys are real exciting to be
it
around.
paid really well, so I could buy all the things that I didn't have time to enjoy, and have all
good.
the money for the vacations that I couldn't take.
Yep.
Right. So once I got that concept, just of it not being dangerous,
Mm.
not being dangerous to leave, the quality of life is different. There's also, not even just being a digital nomad, but also being an expat, that I've always felt, me personally, a certain tension when I go back to the US.
Mm.
Because they know I'm American and they want to know my opinion about something. Because they
Mhm.
want to talk about politics and they want to talk about controversial things and whose team are you on and all that. And I feel this like anger and tension. Anywhere else in the world, I'm not part of that.
Yeah.
Whatever their political thing is, because I've been to 30 or so countries. I've never been to a country that likes their government.
I know they're all the same. It's all the
They're
same.
okay. But when you're a foreigner, they don't expect you to participate. You don't have to pick a team. And I think I'm, pretty strange and weird in the US. But when I leave, they blame it like, oh, well, because she's a gringa. Like, that's why I'm like, I'm weird everywhere. But they don't know that. They think it's because I'm a foreigner. So I can just, and you laugh, but I want to be myself.
No,
And I
your
feel
weirdness sort of fits in because
Yeah,
you're weird
yeah.
anyway because you're a foreigner. So it's
I'm
all
weird
it's
because
all
I'm a
good.
foreigner. So they put me in that category. But, when you go back to your home country, they expect you to conform.
Yeah,
They expect
exactly.
you to be a certain way. And that pressure is off when you're traveling and you just get to be you and explore.
So you said you started what was the first business you started? You said you did some
Podcast
copywriting
production. I
and
did
then or
copywriting
podcast
for
production.
1 minute, and then podcast production I did for a couple of years.
While you're in
I-
Brazil, or were you just traveling everywhere? at the time?
I actually, as soon as we got enough clients, we went to Chiang Mai because
Ah, beautiful. I
that's the
hear it's
Mecca.
fantastic.
You're not a real digital nomad unless you've been to Chiang Mai. So that was the first place we went. Like as soon as we can make $2,000 a month,
It
we can
is
live
the
like a
number two
billionaire.
city on the list for
Yes.
digital nomads in the world. In the entire world, Lisbon is number one. Chiang Mai is number two.
Well, 10 years ago, there wasn't Lisbon.
Yeah.
Chiang Mai was the only hub. And now we've got Lisbon, which is an excellent place. I have a very good friend that runs the community there, Rosanna, and they're very welcoming and really great. It's gotten more expensive than it
Hmm.
was 5 years ago.
All those
Uh,
digital nomads flooding in and taking over the market.
Absolutely. It became really controversial there as well because it's
Yep.
just a bunch of tourists. And then also in South America, you've got Medellin, which is
Yep.
a very good community
Yep. That's the one I'm
as
doing this
well.
Friday.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. I hope to be there soon. That one is very great. The climate is excellent. It's never too hot and it's never too cold. It's only really wet in April and really wet in October. So as long as you avoid April and
Yeah.
October, it's
But
pretty
Americans still have this thing for Colombia though. They're like, the drugs, right?
Narcos or something like
Yeah, yeah.
that.
It's not like that at all.
There's way more coke in New York City than there is in Medellin. I guarantee you.
For sure.
I guarantee you. Yeah, so I've invited some American friends and they just think it's dangerous.
Mm,
And I think for me, like going back to the US where everyone's allowed to have a gun, and I'm not saying you should or shouldn't, I'm not picking a team on that one. But when I know everyone does, as opposed to when I'm here in Brazil and know that most people don't, I feel safer in Brazil.
yeah.
And I think most people don't in
Everything's different
Colombia.
wherever you are. It's so different. So you
It's
did,
really
but is that how you started? But you started your podcasting and then you started going around the world and you had the podcasting company while you were doing that. So did you have
yeah,
local clients or you had clients all over the world?
all over the place. So I was part of a community called Location Rebel. I don't think it's around anymore,
Oh, I
but
love
10
the
years
name.
ago.
That's a great name. You should bring it back.
It was one of the places where you got blueprints and they taught you how to work online and get clients anywhere. And I got my first client base there because I
Nice.
put my podcast there and they're like, how do you do that? I want a podcast.
Nice.
So yeah, we were able to wherever people were that wanted a podcast. Essentially, when it started out, it was just, and it still is a credibility thing, getting information out there for folks. It's a lot more popular now, but at that point, it was just like write an ebook, have a podcast.
Right.
That was your credibility.
Yeah.
So that
So
was
you were
really
working with people who already had some kind of like a consulting business or a coaching business or something like that. Like who were your clients at the time?
basically it was people that had some sort of consulting, coaching, digital products. Not e-commerce. Yeah, I would say that either consulting services, some type of coach, or some type of digital product.
So like you said, it was an additional credibility boost for them to have a podcast as well.
Yeah, none of my clients were monetizing their podcasts. It
Mm,
was just part of the funnel.
right.
Listen to my podcast, here's the link below type of situation.
Yeah. So they would use that as a almost like a lead magnet to bring them into to consult with them. And so you did
Yes,
that for a couple years.
I did that for a couple of years.
So that's
Yep.
2017 or so, or
Yep. And then after that, I stumbled in, which is a very long story for this podcast, but I stumbled into immigration and visas for Spain.
oh wow.
Happened
So
to
but
have
you were in Spain at the time, or
no, I was in Brazil at the time. And I stumbled into that basically because I had a contact with the Spanish government here for something else that I did consulting. And Spain had just passed a law in 2017 called Ley de Emprendedores, which was the entrepreneur visa.
Mhm.
And at that time, you could get the equivalent of a 2-year green card in Spain without any capital requirements. Just
Wow,
saying,
that's
this is
fantastic.
my business. You needed a business plan and then the regular documentation that you need for any visa, which is like a background check and your bank statements and such.
Right.
So the only additional was a business plan. So because I'm an MBA, unfortunately, we didn't have AI and ChatGPT. So I worked for weeks on those darn business plans and I
Yeah,
couldn't
now
get
you can do them in 7 minutes, right? Boom, done.
it's like it just talked to the thing. Oh, when I think about stuff that we used to do and it's how much easier it is now.
Tell me about it.
So
No,
that was
it's easier,
basically
but you can also do it 10 times as many of them, right? That's the trick.
yeah, AI, it makes this a lot more scalable. If you're doing the time for money consulting, it also makes it a lot easier to productize whatever
Absolutely.
consulting.
Absolutely. So you became an immigration consultant for a
I became
period,
an immigration consultant for a period.
but like that really narrow niche. So you were like people
Well, a lot
emigrating
of
from
Americans
Brazil
want to
to Spain, or
stay.
everybody,
Well, no,
anybody.
not Brazil at all. Not Brazil
Okay.
at all. There were no digital nomads at the time from Brazil.
Okay.
Uh, the problem was a lot of Americans wanted to stay in Barcelona. Barcelona was a big hub at that time. Again,
Hmm.
another place that got too expensive, but Barcelona was the place to be. And you have the 90 days in, 90 days out rule in the
Yep.
Schengen, which
Yeah,
is
the
basically
Schengen shuffle.
the Schengen
Yeah,
shuffle.
totally familiar with
So
that. Yeah.
Americans, Australians, Canadians were my
Yeah.
clients because everybody else, you're Danish, you're UK, all those
Yeah.
folks
I
were
also have a
all
Greek citizenship, so I totally get it. I know.
yeah. Yeah. So that's basically what it was. Nobody actually wanted to start a business. They just wanted the visa so they didn't get kicked out.
Right.
And eventually,
So
Spain
there must
caught
have
on.
been some really interesting business plans that you developed then.
Well, no, it was for existing businesses. They
Oh,
had
okay, good.
XYZ e-commerce, XYZ, whatever online business, very established businesses making six figures a month,
Nice.
and just making so that they could be based out of Europe or Barcelona.
So you must have been able to charge a lot for a tiny little niche like that.
I mean, I think it was a lot more work than it was worth in the beginning, because I also needed to hire a lawyer
Right.
because I don't speak Spanish.
Oh,
And
so
I
you couldn't do that part of it,
Well,
unfortunately.
even I would say whatever the bureaucracy, if you're doing any type of visa situation, no matter how easy the DIY is, hire the person for
Yeah.
500 bucks, for 2,000 bucks that knows the way, because whatever gets kicked back, it's going to cost you more time and it's going to be more frustrating. So
Right.
I would always say get a local person to shepherd you. You can get the paperwork yourself,
Right.
but whether it's Brazil, all the consulting I've done, I've always got, because I've done it also in Brazil for people coming the other way. I've always gotten a local person to, because they know the people at the bureaucracy.
Oh
They
yeah.
know the
Well,
people.
yeah,
They
yeah.
know.
It's absolutely necessary. So you were traveling when you were doing this? So you
Yep,
were in Chiang
traveling
Mai,
still.
and then where'd you go after that? You just went.
Chiang Mai, then I went to Barcelona. I lived in Barcelona for a while, and I was a slow mover at that point. It was at least 3 months anywhere.
Hmm.
And then Bulgaria, not Bansko. I
Hmm.
stayed in Plovdiv actually.
But
At that
Bansko is the digital nomad capital of the world, isn't it? No.
it is now, but 6 years ago, nobody knew what it was.
Right.
I actually met the founder in Barcelona, and we were both doing a talk. I was talking about the Spanish visa as a consulting service, and this German guy was talking about a co-working space in Bulgaria.
Mm.
And I was like, Bulgaria, well, where? He's like, Bansko. I'm like, I know Plovdiv, I know Sofia, I know Varna, but where's the heck is Bansko? And he hadn't opened it yet. He's like, oh, it's a ski town. And I was like, that's never going to work. We chase summer. Digital nomads don't like the cold. Nobody's going to a
That's
ski
right.
resort.
We all hate
And
the cold.
I told him that. I was like, oh no. But I didn't go there I went to Bulgaria a couple times and it took me 3 years to go there. I think the first time I went was 2018, but I went in the spring
Yeah.
and it's off season and it's beautiful. The mountains are beautiful. The waterfalls are beautiful. It's cheaper because it's
Yeah.
not peak season. You can get an apartment for $200 a month, like a really nice.
Wow. And their internet is good because that's all I care
Their
about,
internet's
really.
amazing. It's all fiber. Yeah. Internet's amazing. Absolutely. So I stayed there for a while also. I did a little tour of Europe. I went to Latvia. I went to Estonia.
I hear
Uh,
Estonia is really nice. What's it like?
I went in December. Don't go in December because it has
Okay.
about 6 hours of daylight.
It's that far north? I didn't realize it was that far north.
It is. I was like 9 to 3:30 was daylight.
Wow.
So I kind of went at the wrong time. At that time, I was establishing e-residency, and you need to go to the police station there. So I
Yes, I
was
heard about that.
trying to.
You don't have to do that anymore, right? E-residency for Estonia. I hear you can do
Well,
it
you
all
can
remotely.
go to an embassy, but I was based in Brazil at that time, and there was no embassy. They closed the embassy
Mm.
in Brazil. So I was like, oh darn, back to Europe.
Oh well. How horrible.
How horrible,
So you
right?
were doing the immigration consulting while you're in Barcelona, and then you continued moving around Europe, and then did you switch to another business, or you still do immigration consulting to Spain, or is
I
that?
did the immigration consulting. I did some education for crypto at that time because that's when
Oh
Ether
yeah,
came.
crypto went crazy. I remember
And
that.
I stayed in Barcelona for that. I also was in that scene in Colombia at the time in 2017, 2018. And then I spent most of 2018 in Lisbon.
Mm,
And then I ended right before the year. I met a guy there, an Italian guy, and then I ended up living in Cinque Terre, which was always a dream in Italy, in
nice.
Liguria,
I
with
hear it's
him.
beautiful. I don't. I
Oh
think
my,
I've been to as far as Amalfi, but not much further than that.
Italy is the best, and I always weigh the most there because it's just
The food is incredible. It's
it's really
absolutely
too good.
incredible.
I remember going to a cheese fair and they had gorgonzola,
Oh my God, a cheese fair? I'm in
just
heaven.
cheese. And I went around and they're like, oh, they said in Italian, it's gorgonzola, which is Italian,
Yeah,
and which I learned is a city where they make like Parmesan comes from Parma. And they said, what kind would you like? I'm like, what kind of gorgonzola? What do you mean? And my boyfriend translated, he's like, do you want goat, sheep, or cow? I'm like, oh, you
yeah,
gotta be kidding. I want, yes, all of them. I want all of them.
yeah. Keep it coming.
And keep it coming. Absolutely.
Wow,
Uh,
that's fantastic.
yeah,
And
so
then,
I spent a year there.
still
Basically,
doing the crypto consulting?
no, a year there kind of in transition. I ended up doing some sales consulting and trying to figure out what was next. And then it was through a contact in Bulgaria that I found a guy that set up a drop shipping site for saunas, a
Oh, so
Finnish
that's when
guy.
you actually got into back into e-commerce or
So
into
yeah, I
e-commerce.
got it. He basically had set up a site and he needed somebody. He thought he needed a VA. And I'm like, I think you need a business manager. You don't have a funnel, you don't have a customer service model, you don't have any of
Right.
that. And because of being mobile, I decided to just go back to Bulgaria and spend a month with them. I was like, let's work together and let's see what the potential is here.
Nice.
Oh, you're selling saunas in the US. Americans don't even really know what saunas are.
No,
And that he was
no.
selling like a couple a month. And I said, well, let me do your calls live because anytime I build a funnel, I want to actually get my hands dirty and do the calls myself. So that's when I came back to Brazil, was the end of 2019 to be in the right time zone. Because
Yeah, for
Brazil,
US market, for sure.
yeah, São Paulo, Brazil is just an hour ahead of New York. So it was much easier. So I came back to Brazil and started building out their funnel and doing their email campaign and their drip sequence, building a Notion database. He had nothing. He basically had the Shopify site and that was it. So
Nice. But this was consulting work, basically. You weren't working for them. They were
hey,
just a
yeah,
consult.
yeah. At this time, I was just on a monthly basis handling the calls and visiting Brazil for a while.
Hmm.
And I guess it's actually, Chris, all of it's consulting.
Yeah,
You're never an employee ever again.
yeah.
It's always
It was a
consulting.
different kind of business, though. I mean, you hadn't done e-commerce before, right?
I've never done e-commerce, never drop shipping. I don't even like saunas.
Mm.
Actually, I don't like
Too
saunas. I don't
hot.
like the cold
They're too
plunge.
hot.
Yeah, too hot, too cold. I don't like that. But I
So
think
was
when
it
I
these portable zip-up saunas? Is that the kind of sauna it was?
no, like the average price was about $10,000 to $15,000. It's like the big wood one that you built in the
Oh,
back of
okay. So like the Scandinavian style saunas. Okay.
Absolutely. They were from Canada, which is a little easier for the shipping. But I was here when COVID hit, and then all of a sudden we couldn't sell enough of them.
Right.
So that
Because
kind of
everybody
moved on.
wanted a home sauna. I love it.
Everybody wanted a home sauna.
You were in the
So,
right business at the right time. See how great that
and
is?
I think, for people that are like, what am I going to do? I didn't really know what would be the, forever career after that. And you talk about like, there is no retirement anymore. I don't
And there's
feel
no
like
such
I'm
thing as a
working.
forever career either. I mean, that dream is gone completely.
You use the skill set that you have, and all of us have different talents and different things that they like that we like. And I'm a salesperson at heart, so that transitions to consulting, to e-commerce, to whatever it may be. So we did that for a while, and then just after COVID was quote unquote over, we sold the business.
Hmm.
So I ended up going from consultant to partner after a year.
Oh, nice.
And
That's
then
great.
uh, and then we exited the business a little bit after COVID. those things take a while. People are like, oh, I'm going to sell the business. And, I'll sell it in a couple months.
Yeah, it takes time.
Took us
So
almost a year.
did you have a big chunk of cash after that, or?
Yeah, so we had a nice exit. We split it. And then I just did more project work for a while. And I'm kind of still doing that now. But because of everything with AI that I'm just so interested in,
Mhm.
people either love it right now or they hate it. I heard a new term, Chris. Have you heard this? AI vegans?
Yes, I've heard about that. I wrote an article about that the other day.
Did you read it? Oh, I'm sorry, I missed it. The people that
No, it's
just
fine.
want
It wasn't
nothing.
actually. I did it. So I have another podcast called AI Daily, which is hand curate. Like I curate news articles, but I have my AI news readers read it. And one of them was talk about AI veganism and what it's all about. I'm like, oh my God, what a term.
There's basically two camps now. So you and I are in the other camp, like, oh
Yeah,
my goodness, this is amazing. This is like having an external hard drive for your
yeah,
brain.
yeah,
Why would you
exactly.
want that? And I talk to folks my age that are still in corporate America. I've got a friend that's an attorney. And I was like, well, do you use AI? And he's like, yeah, I use it at work. I was like, should I make a course? Do you want a course? Oh no, I took a course at work. We have Copilot. I took a course. I'm
Oh
like,
my
well, what
God,
about
Copilot.
gross, right? Ew. I'm like, Microsoft, seriously? And I was like, well, do you have it on your phone? He's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm not putting that in my personal life. I'm not
Mm,
putting it on my phone. Like, he's
mm,
like, I'm going to stay away from it for a little while longer. And I thought about that, Chris, and I'll put that to you and the folks that are our age that would be listening to this. I can't remember since dial-up internet. Let's go back that far. 20 plus years, 30 years ago. Any time that I thought waiting to learn a new technology was a good idea.
yeah, it never is.
It never was. It
Never
never
is.
was a good idea. And I think now, because people are still thinking it's like Google, and it's
But we're
not.
already almost 2.5 years into it, right? You're not, it's not early. It's the perfect time. In fact, it's a little bit late if you ask me, because I've been using it since
Well,
day
you
one.
remember using ChatGPT last year, and I played with it a little bit last year, but it didn't it didn't resonate. It wasn't fast enough. The answers weren't good enough.
Well, it wasn't good. Yeah, it's
It
much
wasn't
better
good.
now.
So then I dropped it. Kind of like crypto. I was like,
Yeah.
this ether stuff is only $20. That's not going to go anywhere.
I hope you kept your Bitcoin.
No, but it was like, oh, my $20 turned into $400. Oh, I guess I'll sell now. And now it's at, 4 or 5,000.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's basically the same thing. I got out of it last year and I'm like, I don't think this is ready. But
Yeah,
it's definitely prime now, and that's the space that I'm in now. How do we, from a sales perspective, qualify leads better?
right.
And a lot of people, for whatever business they're in, I talk about their sales funnel. Like, well, I don't want to lose the human touch because they
Yeah,
think of like robocalls.
yeah,
Like, no, no, no. You want to talk to the right people. You want to talk to people that know your product has costs money. So a lot of times people get on sales call and like, well, how much is that? Oh my goodness. They
yeah.
need to have
You
money.
have
They
to
need to have
qualify
a
them.
problem. And, an email sequence that's done by an AI can qualify those people, can follow up with those people, and actually leave more time for you to have that human connection. And that could
Exactly. Exactly. And that's how you use it. You use it as an assistant, to lift your burdens, not to replace everything that you're doing. And you have to work with it. You can't just have it do everything
And
for
that's the
you.
reason I try to tell people, like, start using it now so you can get what I mean. Because I can explain that to you, that
Yeah.
you work with it. But unless you try doing it, like you and I both write on Substack, can AI write the article for you? It can't.
No,
It can't
it can.
write
It
a,
can, but it'll be slop.
yeah, it'll be AI slop. Absolutely. But it's not going to be your voice. It's not going to be engaging. It's not going to story tell the way that you do.
Yep.
I write with it. I have it help me edit. Oh, I need another word that's not whisper.
Yeah.
Why are all the kids saying I whisper
Yeah.
everything?
No, I brainstorm a lot with it. It's like, let me give me some ideas. Like, tell me what, here's some. I throw some things around, and then whatever comes out in the end is I wrote, but it's AI. AI is helping me. It's like a buddy. It's like an editor, right? Helps you write.
Editor, intern, doesn't eat, doesn't sleep,
Yep.
doesn't get mad at you. You can
You can
tell
give
it.
it your dumb ideas at 3 a.m. and it actually thinks that
Well,
they're
you can tell it its
amazing.
idea is dumb. I don't like what you said about that.
It
You
never
can't
says
hurt
that, right?
someone.
It never says, "Oh, that's the stupidest thing I ever heard."
No, it has a lot of empathy. So that's kind of the space that I'm in now. I'm based in Sao Paulo. That's what happened. when the music stopped for
Right.
COVID, this is where I was. So I ended up getting stuff. And then I thought to myself, well, I'm not a real digital nomad because I have things here.
But you can absolutely, it's like everybody digital nomads in a different way, right? It's like there's people who at one end of the spectrum who literally have 30 things in their backpack and that's it. And then there's
Right.
people at the other end who, they spend half a year away from home or something like that. So everybody there's variations to everything.
I think what stops a lot of people, and maybe people our age that think, I can't fit all my medicines in one bag or
Yeah,
all of my
exactly.
compresses and all my layers of clothes and all my, we're special needs now. And I think that's what stops a lot of people is they think, well, I have to fit everything in a bag. And now a lot of times I check a bag. If I'm
Mm,
going for more than a week, I check a bag.
yeah,
I bring my protein powder. I bring like
it's
all
worth
of
it.
these things. I bring a blender sometimes. Like
Yeah, absolutely.
all that another I bring another monitor because now I was never a two monitor person because I'm not a programmer. But
Mm.
now with AI, we're all programmers. So now I need
Oh yeah.
well, I need one screen for
Do
my
you ever get
assistant.
those? Do you have those things that fold out of your laptop so you can make it like a triple laptop or anything like that? Have you tried
I've
those?
seen those at co-working spaces, but I don't have one. I have a physical one in my office now. So now and for the last couple years, the longest I've left has been for like 6 weeks.
Mm.
And I recently acquired a small dog. I
Oh,
acquired her as
nice.
a puppy, and I got one. I've always had big dogs before I was a nomad, but I got a portable Jack Russell so that we
Nice.
could travel, and I could
Nice.
start a dog,
Have
me
you
and my
traveled
Jack
like
Russell.
you're one of the first people I've talked to who has a pet who's traveling with pets. Have you traveled with him yet? Or him,
I
her?
have not traveled with her because she just turned 2.
Mm.
And this breed is not quite an adult at 2.
Right.
She's very active. So I'm gonna try. I spent the summer in Brazil this past summer and it was just too hot.
Mm.
It was too, I couldn't, even with a portable air conditioner, I couldn't get the room cold enough. So summertime in Brazil is wintertime in the northern hemisphere, so that's Christmas.
Right.
So by November, December, between November and March, I don't want to be here.
Mm.
So we're going to put her in a bag. So it's not that difficult to travel with pets. That's going to be my experiment. You guys can follow me on the blog and how that works. But travel slowly, have backup plans. I do that anyway, especially since COVID. I got
Right.
denied entry as an American during COVID and had to fly somewhere else like
Oh,
that.
geez.
That was a mess. Yeah, so I'm just going to travel slowly, and it's kind of like I have a toddler. I need to look for doggy daycare.
That's
So
true. I never thought of
yeah,
that, but yeah.
so I've already looked at that, and the two places I want to go for that period of time later this year and early next year are Medellin and Playa del Carmen.
Yeah, they don't have a quarantine or anything like that for pets, do they?
No, 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 no. So basically just going to those places and you can look it up.
Mm.
Dog daycare, type it in English and any place will pop up. So I think also people also think there isn't infrastructure
Mm.
in those places. And there's plenty of infrastructure and usually you're bringing dollars or euros or pounds.
Yeah,
So what might be expensive for them would not be expensive for us.
exactly.
So,
Exactly.
for example, I'm here in Brazil, and in Brazilian reais, it's 1,500 reais is minimum wage, and that's
Hmm.
the equivalent to about 300 US dollars. That's
Wow.
minimum.
Wow.
My doggy daycare for my little dog costs 1,000 reais, which is
Wow.
$200 a month.
Mm.
So nobody in their right mind is putting their dog in private school like
Right.
I am.
Right.
But for me, like $200 a month so that I can talk on Zoom without somebody barking and wanting to
Yeah.
play. That's what we do.
Yeah.
And I guess that comes from like 4-hour work week, the geo arbitrage.
Yeah.
What you want to do is, have your strong currency. That's why you said Lisbon. Lisbon's great, but the purchasing power isn't there anymore.
Oh yeah. Well, these things change all the time. They change from month to month, really, because all sorts of things change. You have inflation, you have all sorts of things happening. So, it's not, it's never static. It's never static. So, how many countries would you say have you been to?
I would say about 30.
Wow.
About
So,
30, not much of Asia because I work with the US mostly.
yeah.
A little, I've had clients in Europe as well, But the time zone, like for your friend, if it's 7 o'clock in the morning in the US is 7 o'clock at night there, and nobody's meeting with you
Oh
at
yeah.
7. So
You
you're
have to
up at
you have to
12.
work opposite hours or something like that. So, of the countries that you've been to, for someone who's just starting out, what would you recommend?
I would recommend somewhere close to where you are. So a lot of Americans start with Mexico
Right.
because a lot of those cities like Cancun, Playa del Carmen, even Oaxaca, that I haven't been to, that's on the list for this year because their food is amazing from what I hear. But go somewhere,
I
they will
sense
have
I sense a
American
pattern here. First Italy.
food, follow your passion, food. They'll have American infrastructure
Mm,
most of the time. It might cost a little more. Like for example, here in Brazil, there's no like temperature control in the house.
mm,
So, and the all this construction is brick. So if it's too hot outside, it's too hot inside.
right.
And right now it's winter and it's 64 Fahrenheit inside my house, and there's nothing
Wow.
I can but put
Just
on more clothes
put
and you
on
get
more
a
clothing.
yeah, it did, that's just and there's also not hot water. I have an electric shower, and a
Wow.
lot of Americans come here, and I was one of them when I first came. I'm like, is that electric wire in the shower? You're supposed to do that. And yeah, that's how there's no hot water heater tank. So I don't have hot water in the kitchen.
Oh
And
man.
that's just
How do you
like,
wash things?
see, and that's what you have to be creative. So I have a kettle, like for tea, and
Yep.
I just heat up water. I put it in a bowl, not just, because people think it's sanitary with hot water, but also because my hands get cold.
Mm,
And then you just wash it that way and it works out fine. So just have to be creative. It's not going to be exactly the same. And then I would also say Europe.
yep.
Anywhere in Europe is going to have, quote unquote, first world
Anywhere
emphasis.
in Europe or any particular countries?
I would say anywhere in Europe, it's going to be more pricey in Western Europe,
Mm,
in Germany and France, Spain, Portugal. I've heard and also on my list is like Porto. If you get outside Lisbon,
yeah.
and the same thing with Spain. If you get outside Barcelona and you go to Valencia and those kinds of places, it
Yeah, I
might be.
actually featured Valencia last week in my Friday post.
Oh,
So
it's
yeah, you're
beautiful.
hitting all the right places. So
Yeah,
you were
start out
talking
light. Don't worry about like trying to trying to save so much money at the get-go. Because even
right,
if you go to Valencia, it's not going to be as cheap as Chiang Mai
right. Yeah, I mean it's different
or
everywhere.
Brazil, but it's going to be less than the US, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah.
And then go for 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Like,
just try it out. Give it a shot. But you
you
have to
don't
try and
have
act less like a tourist and more like someone who lives there, right?
I would say so. And now that I'm thinking about it, because I've been mostly in Brazil, and I'm going to say, okay, I'm back on the road again. So
Hmm.
I'm going to go try Medellin for a month. I'm going to take the
Right.
dog and see how that works. And then I can stay longer if I want. If
Yeah.
I don't want to, then okay, let's go to Playa del Carmen or Tulum and truck the dog
How
over
are you going to
there.
find it? How do you find a place to stay? How do you find places to stay in those places?
So for me and a lot of my friends as well, what I do is you have to be flexible. I used to
Mm,
do a spreadsheet and plan everything.
mm.
Find the grocery store ahead of time, find this ahead. No,
You
just
go to that level of planning?
yes,
Wow.
yes. I'm a planner, and now it's like, you know what? It's going to be different. No matter
Yeah.
how much you plan, how much you research, it's going to be different. It might not be the right place. It might be noisy.
Mm,
Might have construction next door. So I book a place for a week
mm.
in a certain neighborhood. And then if it's somewhere that I plan to stay for a month or 2 months or 3 months, sometimes at the co-working or at a cafe, you meet a friend. Oh, my friend has a place. And that's or like I said, if there's too much noise, the internet's not working for some reason because Colombia doesn't have fiber everywhere.
Right.
So that can happen. So if you're planning to go, all right, I'm going to try being a nomad. So
Mm,
for 3 months, I'd like to go to 3 different places. Just be flexible. Don't buy all your tickets at once. Buy the one way.
right.
Oh, I might save $200 if I buy the round trip and decide when I'm going to leave. Forget saving the $200 by buying the round trip. Just buy a one way and just go and see if you like it. The first place you might not like that much.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's actually good advice because once you get there, then you get a much better different picture of what things are like. and you talk to people, etc. And so you have to be
Yeah,
open to
you would
that.
like a co-working that's on the other side of the town. So
Yeah.
then, all right, let's pack up our stuff and go to the other side of town.
Yeah,
Any of
exactly.
those things.
Exactly. So you mentioned this a little bit earlier, but you were talking about like heating pads and pills and stuff like that. What do you do about healthcare? Because I know Americans, that's another thing Americans are freaked out about. Oh, am I going to be like hacked up by some hack in whatever country I'm in?
I don't worry too much about violence. I'm
Mm,
one of those people that, you can't prevent bad things from happening all the time. Bad things are going to happen, and you
sure.
just deal with them when they do.
And
You
it could
deal with
just as
them.
easily happen in New York City as
It can
anywhere
happen
else.
anywhere.
Yeah,
So just walk around with a good energy, a curious energy, and you should be fine. I definitely recommend getting some sort of travel insurance
right.
in case something happens, because in case Uber crashes or you decide to ride a motorcycle or I don't know, something silly.
Yeah,
Because those, whether it's World Nomads, or Safety Wing or any one of those, it's not that it's only expensive if you get it to go to the US.
yeah,
But anywhere else in the world, you're talking about a couple $100.
yeah.
So
I
get
think somebody
that.
was kind of talking about Genki or something like that. Have you used them before?
That's a new one. No, I've used World Nomads and I've used Safety Wing.
Yeah, because I mean, somebody on a previous call, they said they had Genki and it was like 300 euros a month everywhere in the world except for the US and
Yeah,
Canada,
yeah, because
which I
healthcare
think
is very expensive.
seems
So you
reasonable
have
to
to
me
check, yeah,
considering how
you
much
have
we're
to check a
paying.
box if you want it to cover the US. So
Yeah,
most of the time no,
yeah,
because digital nomading there is just pointless. So not the US, it's going to be cheap. But any of those are travel insurances.
right.
Those aren't like if something happens to you, they're going to make you well enough to ship you back to your home country for
Yeah,
care.
which
So
is which is kind of what you want. But for maintenance and stuff like that, I mean, it's usually cheap enough to just pay out of pocket, right?
oh, absolutely. I pay out of pocket now. I had a private supplemental here in Brazil, and it was getting kind of like the US. They just kept, over the last couple of years, stripping away benefits.
Right.
And I was paying more and more out of pocket. And private doctors, I pay out of pocket. And every test, that I've had, I had a bone scan, a full body bone scan. That was like $150. Okay.
See, this drives me crazy about how people are so worried about the costs of
No,
healthcare when they travel. Yeah.
I pay out of pocket. Like I did have a friend, or I still have a friend. A couple of months ago, she got a kidney stone,
Mm,
and she went to a private hospital here, and they kept her overnight, and she needed to have it surgically removed.
hmm
So it was 2 days. It was quite a thing, and that ended up. What do you think that would cost in the U.S.?
I don't know, nearly 100,000, if not more.
It a lot of money. I
Yeah.
think if they're going to keep you overnight, they're going to need somebody to do the anesthesia,
Yeah.
somebody
Especially if
to
you
do
have
the
no insurance,
surgery.
it would be
Yeah,
astronomical.
this we're talking out of pocket, out of pocket. So this is a very nice private hospital in the US. They also have a public hospital, and you can go. I've been to the public hospital. I went, I had an X-ray. I went to the emergency room. I was there all night. They took blood and they charged me nothing.
hmm
You can go to the public
Wow.
hospital, they'll charge you nothing. You're going to wait a long time. The service is not quite as much, but they will care for you and it will cost you nothing. So she went to a private hospital, and it ended up costing $6,000.
Wow. That's
But that
nothing.
was to nuts everything. I mean, yeah, that's kind of a harsh bill, but it's a
It's
surgery.
not that harsh compared to
No,
what we
it's
have to
not what
deal
it
with
would
here.
be. So, for perspective, just before I left the US and moved to Brazil in 2011, I fell down the cellar, down the basement from
Oh
a
no.
hatch, and I broke my ulna in my arm. I broke it in 3 places.
Oh, ouch.
And my friend, yeah, it looked like a snake. It was not it's one of those things you look at it and like, this is not a Band-Aid situation. Take me to the hospital.
I think this is
And
more than just a
before they would
band-aid.
treat me, you have to sign all the paperwork. And I don't
hmm
have any insurance because I'm leaving.
Yeah.
I don't have a job because you only have insurance if you have a job. I'm leaving. So I sign all, and I'm vomiting because of the pain. So I've got a
Mm.
bucket, and I can't even sign with my right hand. I'm trying to sign with my left hand while
Jesus.
I'm holding a bucket to vomit because they won't treat you. They finally get in to treat me. And here's what they did. They gave me 1 dose of morphine. Then they thought I was allergic to it for some reason. They gave me Dilaudid.
Hmm.
Yeah, it looked like a bug bite or something. So they gave me even a higher. So they gave me two very strong painkillers. And what they did is, it's called a reduction. So my bone was crooked,
Mm.
and they basically had residents, everybody gathered around me, and they just pulled it straight really fast.
Yikes.
And then they set it in a temporary cast. They took an x-ray before and after. I was there for 4 hours.
Wow.
And that was $7,000.
Holy cow. That is insane.
2 shots, two x-rays, and a manual realignment of myself. And that
Ow.
was, yeah. So I don't even know what that would cost now. It would probably cost $15,000 now.
Yeah, I hope the painkillers worked.
Oh, it was the best ever. It was the
She's
best
still
ever.
screaming, give her more.
Not $7,000 worth.
No,
I've been to Colombia. $20 buys that much fun in
no,
Colombia.
it's not. It's absolutely nuts.
So yeah, if anybody's worried about healthcare, whatever happens to you, you will get the highest quality care and you'll be able to pay for it out of pocket. Even
Yeah.
if it's a catastrophe and you need a surgery.
Yeah.
And they will, and not just that, like, people are kind.
Mhm.
They're super kind with you. They're slow, like not slow like in the service wise, but they're not trying to rush you to get to the other person.
Yeah, yeah. They're not
Um,
trying to get you to the next person. Yeah,
So
that's one of the
I would
things
say
we
that's
have
one of the
here.
reasons I stay
Yeah.
out of the US
Yeah.
is because of the healthcare.
Yeah.
And I pay everything out of pocket. And once a year I do all the battery of, exams. I do a bone scan, I do a mammogram, I do an ultrasound on my abdomen, and I do the full battery of like blood analysis. And that costs like $500.
Wow, that's nothing.
A
That's
full test
so
of
nothing.
everything
That's less than we
out of
pay for
pocket.
insurance a month. I mean, that's like a quarter of what we pay for insurance a month in some cases. It's terrible.
Yeah.
That's
So
that's
I
that's
would
nuts.
say if you're worried about leaving because of healthcare, that should be a reason to leave
Yeah.
for better
We see
healthcare.
that's the thing, right? It's kind of like people are like, okay, I need to be making $8,000 a month to survive. And I'm like, you only need to be making $8,000 a month to survive because you have your mortgage, you have your rent, you have your health care, you have all
Car,
of this.
insurance for the car, gas for
Yeah,
the car. I
exactly,
haven't had a
exactly.
car in 15 years and it
Yeah,
hasn't bothered me at all.
yeah. Because I mean, what's your monthly outlay now? What, maybe 1,000?
I live like a queen in Brazil, in São Paulo, which is a city the size of New York. It's one of the most expensive cities in South America. And I live like a queen for $2,000 a month.
Yeah. See, it's a
That's
fraction.
including $200 for the doggy daycare.
Yeah. 10% goes to the dog.
10%
I love
goes
it.
to daycare. I have like a 1,200 square foot apartment with 2 bathrooms, 2 bedrooms,
It's
and
bigger than
that
my
costs
house. I
me
love it.
like $600 a month,
Wow.
$600 a month, including the condo fee.
Yeah. And that is not unheard of. That's pretty normal. In fact, that's kind of expensive, isn't it, in your area? Or
Not for São Paulo. For
Mm.
Brazil as a whole, yes.
Yeah.
But for São Paulo, it's kind of on the cheap side.
Wow.
I had a fancier, more modern apartment in the center, and that was $1,200 a month. But it was
Still.
twice the modern. Yeah, it was. It
1,200
was
a month is how much people pay for car leases around here.
Well, yeah. So I had that apartment, and the another one I had was a penthouse with a rooftop deck and a 4-person jacuzzi. That was on
Nice.
the top floor, and that was $1,200 a month.
Wow.
You want to spend,
You're definitely
not
living the high
600,
life.
you wanna
I love
double
it.
Then you're living the high life for what you can't really rent a bathroom for in the US.
That's amazing. So I got a couple other things. So is there any tools or technology that you use that you think is interesting of note to mention, or is it just sort of like AI and
I don't think there's any required technology. One of the things that I wish I'd done was not as heavy a laptop the last time I purchased a laptop.
yes, a light laptop is very
I have a
important.
very heavy MacBook from
Mm.
2000. She's very, very heavy. And
Sounds
then
like it's time to buy a new one.
time to buy a new one. No, they're so expensive. I'm going to do it until they won't update it anymore. No.
But the light laptop, it's amazing how much of a difference that is, because my home unit is a Legion 5. It's like a big ass gaming laptop. I always go over gaming laptops, even though I don't do any gaming, because they're high powered, right?
Right.
But when it came
But
to
they weigh a
travel,
ton.
exactly, this one weighs a ton. I do not take it anywhere. It's basically my desktop, even though it's a laptop. So I bought another machine for travel, which is, I think, even more powerful than this one. But it's light and thin and it's great. But yeah, it's very important to have a light laptop.
Absolutely. And
Yeah,
I would say don't worry so much about the carry-on versus a checked bag. I know it's a lot more expensive. It's like
right.
$100 sometimes to check a bag. But if you can't fit your stuff, check a bag because whether it's a carry-on or a bigger suitcase, you're still going to have to lug it around from Airbnb to Airbnb.
Yeah,
That doesn't change whether you can put it under the seat or not. But whatever you bring for your laptop, that go bag should be able to fit like an overnight, what you need for overnight.
right. In case
Your
they misplace your
laptop and
luggage.
then all your overnight stuff, toiletries, that should be your primary bag.
Right.
So you have that one bag, and then the other one you can. So if you go to an Airbnb, you're like, oh, you know what? I want to visit that village that's like a hour away. You can leave most of your stuff and just take a go bag with your laptop and whatever you need to work.
Right.
So having that, you need to have that portable backpacky situation that's easy to carry.
So it's
And
like mostly backpacking stuff, like the most because you can also lose your luggage, right? And it might show up a couple days
well,
late.
I always put like a day's worth of clothes and my toothbrush and medicines in whatever bag that I carry on the plane,
Right.
which includes my laptop and all of that stuff.
Any brands
Yeah.
that you recommend, or is just whatever you find?
Um, I would say there's not a particular brands that I like. I like the backpacks. There's a lot of them that have that side pouch to
Yeah.
be able to pull out your laptop. That one's pretty good. And then I've found a couple, I actually bring two. I bring a backpack and then inside my carry-on or suitcase, I put more of like a business laptop bag that I take for the working or something like that, that you could take a snack in, you know, your microphone, whatever you might need for the rest of the stuff. But there's so many different ones now. I would say don't spend a lot of money on it
Right.
because you're going to beat it up.
And
you might not
everything
like
changes all the time.
Yeah, you might not like it. You change your setup, you have to change your bag.
Yeah,
I've
exactly.
got more stuff.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And for technology, I would say read the Airbnb comments or booking or whatever and start with that. You're not going to be able to go local if you're just starting out.
Yeah.
About the internet.
Yeah, because that's hugely key. I mean, you've had trouble where
I've
gone
had
to
trouble
places.
with the internet, and then
Yeah.
you're stuck in a place with crappy internet, and then you're trying to find a co-working and not being able to have internet in the house. You know, if you have a call and you need privacy or something like that. So I would say the most important thing, everything else you can buy when you get there.
Oh yeah.
And as far as tools, the tools come in the internet. So you just need to have good internet to be able to download them.
Cool. All right. Well, we're almost at time. So do you have any final thoughts for people who are thinking about getting into it and are just a little reluctant?
I would say just pick a place and book a trip for 2 weeks. 1 week is too short. 2 to 3 weeks, you need to do laundry there. You need to go to
You
the
got to get through the
grocery
laundry
store.
cycle first.
Yeah, you need to live there, like you were saying. You need to live there. So you need to
Yeah.
go through a cycle of at least 2 weeks. A month would be more ideal, but at least 2 weeks of going through the whole cycle of things and figuring out like, can I find stuff on my own? Can I find all the things I need at the market?
Right.
Where am I going to work? Where's a good place to eat? All of those things. And you know, you can wing it and suffer for a week anywhere.
Right.
But 2 to 4 weeks. And what I see a lot of folks doing when they start is they want to go to a different place every time.
Mm.
And I go back to the places that I know that I like. I'm
Right.
not punching hard like I need to go to 100 countries. 30 is fine. If
Yeah.
I don't see another country, that's okay.
Yeah, you've already got 30 under your belt. That's a pretty decent number.
Yeah, or they're trying to rush through and visit all the things. Like it'll still be there when you get back.
Yeah.
I've lived in Florence for 6 months. I never saw the David.
Yeah.
To this day, I haven't seen the David.
Wow. You'll be back.
Because it's still there. And when I have time to be a tourist, at the time I didn't want to be a tourist. So I didn't see the David.
That's so funny. There's so many varieties because the last guy I just talked to, I had a call just before this. He said, "Oh, I don't really feel like I'm in a place until I've been there at least 6 months plus." And like,
I would say that's kind of true.
Yeah.
Because I've gone to places for 3 months, like Medellin in Colombia for 3 months, and it's still kind of new when you leave.
Yeah.
But coming back and adding that extra 3 months.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I like
Yeah.
this other area. I think
Yeah.
I like this. So I would
like
say that's right.
6 months to a year. I'm like, that's great. I wish,
You don't want to intimidate people. Like
Yeah.
starting out, like you said, 2 to 4 weeks, be flexible. If you don't have hot water, don't scream at the landlord because it might not be normal there. Where's our hot water? How come this coffee has sugar in it? Stuff's going to be different. And I think one of the worst things that when I came from the US is when it was, what I thought was when it was different, it was wrong.
Mm.
Like they put like sweet tea in the US, they put sugar in the coffee here.
Mm.
So once you pour it out, it already has sugar in it. And to me, that was wrong. Actually wrong. Like, no.
Yeah.
It took me about a year to go, it's different.
Yeah.
Our way is not the right way, it's just a different way. So having that mentality and having that curiosity, not flipping out.
Yeah. Being open-minded is the key thing. I think that's what people, and that's part of what you want when you're traveling, right? You want to be open-minded. You want to be open to new experiences. I mean, that's why you're doing it in the first place, right?
And it's true what they say, you learn more about yourself. Oh, one last thing before we go, because I feel like I'm doing my digital nomad journey part 2, one with a dog, a couple of different places, looking for a new base because I don't want to be in Brazil anymore. I want a different base now, or maybe two bases. I would recommend, and if you can link it, I'll send you the link. I just read a book called The Female Nomad.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought like, oh gosh, I'm not quite 50 yet. I'm 45. I'm like, I'm going to start over with this digital nomad thing and try kids everywhere.
You're not starting over.
Starting from experience. I gotcha. But I feel like I would go out and it's going to be hostels and 25-year-olds. So I picked up this book. It was a friend of mine, you know her as well, Miranda Miller. She had left it at my house the last time she came.
Oh yeah, I've got her on the list to talk to her.
Absolutely. She left this book for me and I didn't read it for a while. And it basically is a story of a woman that got divorced in the late 80s at the age of 48.
Wow. And
she started out, she was taking a break from her marriage for 3 months and she went to Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And she stayed in Mexico for 3 months and went back to California. And lo and behold, her marriage is over. It's like, okay, where to next? And she ended up in Bali. She went to New Zealand. So the whole book is about over 10 years of her just exploring and being flexible and being open-minded. So for anyone that's like, I started out like trying to plan everything. And what if this goes wrong? What if that? It is an excellent book of somebody going with the flow and everything working out just fine.
I love it. Because that is exactly what's going to happen. Everything will work out just fine. You just have to be flexible.
Be flexible, be patient. There will always be, the other thing is I always learn, I don't learn good morning or good night when I go somewhere. I learn thank you. That's the only word. The only word I can say in Thai is thank you. Kapung ka. That's the only word I know. Somebody will help you while you're there. And it's nice to thank them in their own language.
That's right. Gratitude. That's the most important thing. Absolutely. So this has been great. Thank you so much. So someone wants to get in touch with you. What's the best way?
What's the best way? I'll send you my links. I'm on Instagram at the Mariza Monteiro, but I'll put the link because that's hard to spell. And I hope you put our Substack links because that is
absolutely everything will be linked.
To reach me. Absolutely, and you can see all of my things there. And then I'll also put my my email and website for the AI company if anybody's looking, not just to figure out something or consult on it, or just, have a mastermind about AI of how it can help in your business. Definitely reach out to me because we need more people in that sphere.
Absolutely.
More advocates in the AI, more advocates our age in this.
That's right. Exactly. So I will put everything in the show notes so people can go directly. So thank you so much. This has been great.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Chris.
Great talking to you. Thank you so much.